given by His Grace Advaita Chandra Prabhuji on the glories of Srinivas Acarya. Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you for giving your valuable time. Now it's over to you. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswati Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavat Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nandagopakumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Today we'll discuss on the glories of Sri Srinivas Acharya. We had discussed last time also on his glories. We'll continue and hopefully complete today. Although the glories of the previous Acharyas can be spoken again and again so many times, and there's no end to it. But just like a dwarf is trying to catch the moon, we try to discuss their glories and see to get their mercy and see how we can apply their teachings in our life, how they went through the challenges of Krishna consciousness and still continued the mission of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu by their example and by their words. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shrivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So last time we discussed on how Srinivas Acharya was appeared to his parents Gangadhar Bhattacharya and Lakshmi Devi. They lived in the Chakhandi Gram, and then he was this Gangadhar Bhattacharya became known as Chaitanya Das after he could not stop chanting the name of Sri Krishna Chaitanya when he saw the sannyas initiation and the hair cutting ceremony of Lord Chaitanya. And when he was given the name Sri Krishna Chaitanya, he continued chanting that name. He could not stop that. Later he went to Jagannath Puri to meet Lord Chaitanya. And Lord Chaitanya blessed both of them, and they had a beautiful son, Srinivas Acharya. And Lord Chaitanya predicted this son will continue the legacy of the 6 Goswamis. So this way Srinivas Acharya went to many places in Jagannath Puri. Later, after Lord Chaitanya and Nityananda Prabhu left, he got the mercy of Gadadhar Pandit. He got the mercy of, he got the blessings from all the devotees in Jagannath Puri. Then he went to Bengal. He got the blessings of Sri Vishnu Priya Thakurani, who was the wife of Lord Chaitanya, of Janava Devi and Vasudha, who were the wives of Sri Nityananda Prabhu, and at that time they were the Janava Mata was the guru. And soon he arrived in Mathura, and in Mathura he took bath at Vishram Ghat. Vishram Ghat is the place where Lord Krishna rested after he slayed the demoniac king Kamsa. And because of that, of course, it's called as Vishram Ghat, or the place where Lord Chaitanya rested. Srinivas Acharya then took the darshan of the Adi Keshav deity, took the darshan of Krishna's holy birthplace, and he went to Vrindavan. On his way to Vrindavan, he met many brahmanas who were Brajbasis, and he started talking to them, friendship with them, and that's where he came to know that Raghunath Bhatta Goswami and other great devotees had just passed away. It was only Sri Jiva Goswami and Gopal Bhatta Goswami, the youngest of them, are the only Goswamis who are in Sri Vrindavan Dham. And he began to weep and fell to the ground. He had heard the glories of the Goswamis since his childhood, and he always wanted to meet them. And alas, he came here to Vrindavan and he finds that no one is there. So he went, when he reached Vrindavan, he reached to meet Srila Jiva Goswami. And Jiva Goswami had heard of Srinivas Acharya. And Jiva Goswami embraced Srinivas Acharya with great affection after Srinivas Acharya offered his respects to the lotus feet. And they spoke a lot about each other, about their journey. Srila Jiva Goswami, he wanted to know about the news from Bengal of the welfare of different Gaudiya Vaishnavas, and he started asking the names of all the Vaishnavas and asking how they are. And then Jiva Goswami arranged for prasad and a place to stay. Now Srinivas Acharya was very much junior to Jiva Goswami, but still Jiva Goswami was very, very hospitable. Then later they had prasad together from of Sri Radha Govinda deity, remembering Srila Rupa Goswami. Both of them remembered Rupa Goswami and his deity Govinda prasad. And the next morning he went with Jiva Goswami. Srinivas Acharya went with Jiva Goswami and took the darshan of Radha Raman temple. Radha Raman temple is still, of course, it's still there, and it's very much well known for the great deities of Sri Radha Raman, where only Raman has manifested, and Srimati Radharani is still in the form of Shaligram, still waiting to be manifested. But Sri Radha Raman is a self-manifested deity who manifested himself on the request of or to fulfill the desire of Sri Gopal Bhatta Goswami, who had the desire to dress. He had shaligrams which were given by Lord Chaitanya, and he would worship the shaligrams, but he would pray, please allow me to dress you. I'm not able to, as shaligram, I'm able to worship you and I'm very happy, but I want to also dress you. I don't know how I can do that. And he had this intense desire, and on the day of Gaura Purnima, when he came back to worship his deities, he saw just one shaligram. And in place of the other shaligram was manifested the deity of Sri Raman. And that's how it came to be Sri Sri Radha Raman. The descendants of the disciples of Gopal Bhatta Goswami are still taking care of this great, wonderful deity of Sri Sri Radha Raman. And next day, Srinivas Acharya was taken by Jiva Goswami to have the darshan of Radha Raman deities, and they saw Gopal Bhatta Goswami there, worshipping personally Sri Sri Radha Raman. And Gopal Bhatta Goswami was so happy to see Srinivas. Srinivas offered his respect to the lotus feet, and with great humility, he begged Sri Gopal Bhatta Goswami, please initiate me in the divine mantra. He begged for initiation. And Gopal Bhatta Goswami, knowing the intense desire and the eagerness of Srinivas Acharya, was very happy to initiate him. And later, Gopal Bhatta Goswami gave the mantra diksha to Srinivas Acharya. The next day after initiation, Srinivas Acharya went to meet Raghunath Das Goswami. He went to Radha Kunda, and in Radha Kunda, Raghunath Das Goswami used to stay, but there, near Radha Kunda, he found Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is the writer of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, is the author of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. And along with Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, there was Raghav Pandit and so many great devotees of the Lord. And for 3 days he stayed there at Radha Kund and received wonderful instructions about performing bhajan from these great souls. After receiving their blessings, Srinivas Acharya again returned to Vrindavan, to Srila Jiva Goswami. There, Jiva Goswami taught Srimad Bhagavatam and all the other scriptures to Srinivas Acharya. Now, he was initiated by Gopal Bhatta Goswami, but he was his Shiksha Guru was Jiva Goswami. He was not continuously with Gopal Bhatta Goswami thinking, now I don't have to worry about Jiva Goswami, I have my spiritual master Gopal Bhatta Goswami. Jiva Goswami, don't bother me. He didn't say anything like that. He actually took studies under Jiva Goswami. And Gopal Bhatta Goswami did not say, hey, Srinivas Acharya is my disciple. Now you should not instruct him. No, it was a very organic, natural process. Gopal Bhatta Goswami was happy to learn that his disciple, Srinivas Acharya, is learning from the great Sri Jiva Goswami. And in very short time, Srinivas Acharya, he knew by heart all the Siddhantas of the literature of the Goswamis, and because of that because of his expertise in philosophy, he got the name Acharya, and he was called as Srinivas Acharya from that day. Srinivas Acharya had heard of Narottam Das Thakur earlier, but at the ashram of Jiva Goswami, he met Narottam Das Thakur personally. And from the time of their first meeting, Srinivas Acharya and Narottam Das Thakur became lifelong friends. from day one. And Jiva Goswami ordered both of them, Narottam Das Thakur and Srinivas Acharya, to wander in the forest of Vrindavan with Raghava Goswami. Imagine our Guru Maharaj telling, just go and wander into the forest. Nowadays there is just concrete jungle, but the forest of Vrindavan is where all the Goswamis would just chant, Hey Govinda, Hey Krishna, where are you? In separation from them. So two of them wandered into the forest of Vrindavan with Raghava Pandit, with Raghava Goswami. And they went about the journey through the forest. Raghava Pandit was a South Indian Brahmana, and he was very much single-mindedly, he was devoted to Lord Chaitanya. In fact, in Gaura Ganodesh Deepika, Sri Kavi Karnapura, he says that person who was once the dear Gopi friend of Radharani and whose name was Champakalata later appeared as Sri Raghava Goswami and lived at Govardhan, where he worshipped a deity of Giridhari in great ecstasy. So Sri Raghava Goswami was none other than Champakalata. And through the 84 kroshas of Mathura Mandal, they wandered together. And Narahari Chakravarti, he in Bhakti Ratnakar, Narahari Sarkar Thakur, he dedicates 5 chapters of great detail of how Srinivas Acharya, Narottam Das Thakur and Raghav Goswami wandered in the forest of Vrindavan. That's how was started the Vrajamandal Parikrama through the forests of Vrindavan. And after wandering through the 12 forests, they again returned to Jiva Goswami. At that time, they found another person in the ashram of Jiva Goswami. His name was Dukhi Krishnadas, and he had just arrived from Bengal, from Gauradesh, and they became very good friends. Dukhi Krishnadas, he was the disciple of Hriday Chaitanya. And Hriday Chaitanya was the one who was revived by Saranga Thakur in Mamgachi. He was a dead person, but then he was revived by Saranga Thakur. And his disciple was Dukhi Krishnadas. This Dukhi Krishnadas later came to be known as Shyamananda Prabhu, Shyamananda Pandit. So these three were very great friends, Narottam Das Thakur, Srinivas Acharya, and Shyamananda Pandit. They were Shiksha disciples of Jiva Goswami, but they had their own Diksha Gurus. The Diksha Guru of Narottam Das Thakur was Lokanath Goswami. Diksha Guru of Srinivas Acharya is Gopal Bhatta Goswami. Diksha Guru of Shyamananda Prabhu or Dukhi Krishnadas is Hriday Chaitanya. So they had different Diksha Gurus, but they were best of friends with one Shiksha Guru. So similarly, this situation of these Goswamis at that time is very much contemporary, very much similar to modern day ISKCON. We have so many Diksha Gurus, but we are all friends together, we are all family together, we are all family of Srila Prabhupada. Just as they considered themselves as family of Lord Chaitanya, similarly we are also in the extended family of Lord Chaitanya and specifically under the direction of Srila Prabhupada. So we should all learn and remember these great stories of the previous acharyas also explain how we should have relationships amongst ourselves, irrespective of who our guru may be. But we should be very, very compassionate and friendly with each other. And from there, all of them became very good friends, and it was decided by all the rest of the Goswamis of Vrindavan that they'll send these three friends, Narottam Das Thakur, Srinivas Acharya, and Shyamananda Pandit, to Bengal to deliver the Goswami scriptures and to preach. All the literatures were there. They have learnt all the literatures, and now they had to go and spread the literatures, start distributing the books. The three of them were extremely renounced, and they were highly learned, but they were the ones who agreed with great enthusiasm to carry out this task of book distribution. The first book distributors were these three of them, Srinivas Acharya, Narottam Das Thakur, and Shyamananda Pandit. And then they decided an auspicious day when they would leave from Vrindavan to Bengal. They offered their respectful obeisances to the three principal deities of Vrindavan, Sri Govinda, Sri Gopinath, Sri Madan Mohan, and then they started their journey to Bengal. Now, the books at that time had to be handwritten. There was no printing press. So if you want multiple copies of the book, there were devotees who dedicated their service was just to copy the books and make copies of the literatures. And then all these books were on palm leaves. These books were compiled. There was no stapler at that time. They all had to put it together and tie them up. And all this bundle and all this organization was required, like we do in book distribution today. Like Vaisheshika Prabhu says, before you go for book distribution, the night before you should have everything packed, so that next day there is least resistance of the mind. All you have to do is just go and drive. Similarly, they had made all these arrangements. They had the inventory, they counted the number of books, they neatly packed in a trunk, and now they had to transport this. They loaded it in an ox cart and set out to Mathura on their way to Bengal. It was a long way. Nowadays, by flight it takes 2.5 hours, and by train maybe it's a 24-hour journey. But at that time it was a long way on a bullock cart, just stopping at night in different villages where they would perform Sankirtan, they would preach, they would take prasad, they would take rest after some time, and slowly the bullock cart arrived in a place called Banabhishnupur. This Banabhishnupur was the headquarters of King Bhirambhir. Bhirambhir was the leader of dacoits. This leader of dacoits had become the king of this particular town called Banabhishnupur. And as he entered, as Srinivas Acharya, Narottam Das Thakur, and Shyamananda Pandit, they entered Banabhishnupur, the spies started watching them. And then one of his thieves came to King Bhirambhir and said, "You know what? There are many people, they are moving along the road, and they have a chest which is probably it's full of jewels. That's why so many people are guarding it. And they are coming towards Bengal. And they have just entered Banabhishnupur." The king said, "All right, this is it. That chest, I want it to be stolen and brought in front of me. And all the thieves, they started spying and started noting the activities of the patterns, to find a pattern. When do these people take rest? When do these people go for prasad? And that's the time we'll steal it. So all the three, and there were many others who were accompanied with them, because they wanted to make sure that these books, these were the only copies. They cannot afford to lose this during travel. So there were several other devotees who were coming with them as guards. So in the night when they would take rest, different people would take guard, and all the village people, they were completely astonished. One night, when the devotees were sleeping peacefully by the side of a river, they took prasad, they were nicely taking rest. The thieves came by, and they very, very slowly and carefully stole away the chest of books and ran away with it. They brought this chest to the king, and when the king saw this chest, they said, "This is huge, this is so heavy, this must have jewels, some treasure." And his mind was very much carried away by happiness. Wow, this is it. So he called the thieves, "Come here, take this reward." He gave him clothes and ornaments. Before even opening the chest, he started celebrating. And the king then said, "Finally, I've obtained great wealth." And he had an astrologer, King Bhirambir, in his court, who had told him that in this chest, whatever is there is priceless. And that made the king more excited. Now next morning, when the three got up, they looked for the chest. Where's the chest? Where is this trunk full of Goswami scriptures? They looked here and there, they ran here and there, all along the banks. Did it drown in the river? They jumped into the river, they completely panicked right at that time, because this was the only copies that was there, and of the books of Goswamis. What will they say? They can't even go back. If they go back, what are they going to say? We lost the books. They're stolen. And they were completely, they were so close to death and depression. After some time, when they calmed down, they thought, who can understand the will of Govinda Dev? When we left on this journey, we had his blessings. By his will, all the Goswami scriptures were put into that one chest. Maybe we should have had multiple chests and have had different copies, different places. And they started, contemplating different things, and then they started philosophizing. And some said, no, it's our fault. Some said, no, it's the will of Krishna. Somehow it's happening. We should just accept it. And both were correct. It is the fault. But it was also the will of Krishna that they be at fault. And this king, later they heard that this is Van Vishnupur, and the king is a king of thieves. So he thought, the thieves are getting too much liberty in this kingdom. Now the king, he was excited to open up the chest, open up the trunk. And he opened the box. Lo and behold, he saw there was a cloth covering every treasure that was there. He said, yeah, I'll remove the cloth and I'll find gold and silver and all these different jewels. And he removed the cloths. But to his dismay and disappointment, these were books. He said, what would I do with these books? Just remove everything. Maybe underneath the books, he took away all the books, and there was nothing underneath. There was just books. And he called his astrologer. He said, what did you tell me? You told me this is priceless, but there is nothing here. And the astrologer said, my prediction cannot be wrong. Whatever is in there is priceless. And if you found these books are priceless. Must be priceless. So he thought maybe the jewels are inside the books. And so he opened the book, and one of the books, and he saw the name Sri Rupa Goswami written on the palm leaf. And he saw the beautiful handwriting of Sri Rupa Goswami. It is said that just by seeing the handwriting of Sri Rupa Goswami and reading his name, all the sins of this king immediately flew away from him. His heart was purified just by reading the writing of Rupa Goswami. And his Krishna Prema came out of his heart. He didn't know what just happened. It was like an instant transformation. And he became very contemplative. He placed the Goswami scriptures carefully within the chest, within the trunk, and he retired for the evening. As he was resting, he had an unusual dream. In this dream, he saw a very beautiful person whose body was glowing with effulgence, like a golden mountain. And this person was smiling like the moon. And then that person spoke, do not worry. Soon I'll come and we shall meet. And he just disappeared. And suddenly he woke up and he saw King Bhirambir. He saw around, what was that? Who was that? But he became patient. And he understood the words, soon I shall come and we will meet. And then he started worrying. He started thinking to himself, these seem to be some magical books. These books are magical. They have had a magical effect on me. They seem very holy. These holy scriptures, they are causing great trouble to someone, somewhere. The persons from whom I have stolen. Imagine how pure they must be, how magical they must be. And then he was seeing, but how can I find who they are? He sent his thieves back to the river, but by then Narottam Das Thakur, Shravananda Pandit and Srinivas Acharya had moved on. They decided that they would go to Keturigram, where Narottam Das Thakur would go to Keturigram, Shyamananda Prabhu would go to Ambika Kalna, and Srinivas Acharya, he said, I'm going to stay here in Ban Vishnupur and I'll go to the king's palace and ask him to help me in finding these scriptures. So all three parted ways and Srinivas Acharya stayed there. There was a Brahmana resident of Ban Vishnupur. He was just fascinated by seeing Srinivas Acharya, by hearing him speak, by his grace, by his benevolence. This Sri Krishna Vallabha, who was the Brahmana resident of Vishnupur, became very much fascinated. He brought Srinivas Acharya to his home and gave him all respects. And then Srinivas Acharya initiated him in the Hare Krishna mantra. And there were many others. Slowly, they also recognized Srinivas Acharya as their guru and accepted initiation. And Srinivas Acharya would give lectures to them, and then he asked them, "Can you please take me to the king? I want to meet the king." So they said, "Yes, sure, we can take you to the king." So Sri Krishna Vallabha said, "Our king of late has become transformed. He's had some transformation, and he has great faith in Bhagavatam and in sadhus. So I'm sure he'll be happy to see you." So they said, "Then can we go today?" "Sure, let's go today." So Krishna Vallabha took Srinivas Acharya to the king's palace. When this king Bhirambhir, he saw the brilliant effulgence of Srinivas Acharya, he just fell to the ground and he offered his prostrated obeisances. And he gave him a garland of flowers and gave him an elevated seat very spontaneously. He did not have to do anything. And Srinivas Acharya, he prayed to the previous Acharyas, the Guru Vandana prayers, and very sweet voice, he started explaining Srimad Bhagavatam. His recitation of verses were so wonderful, and his explanations were even more enchanting. After hearing all his explanation, the whole assembly, including the king, they were melted in Krishna Prema. Just by seeing a Vaishnava, one is purified. Many devotees describe, just by seeing Srila Prabhupada, they would become devotees. One time there was a reporter who came, and he was sitting right next to Prabhupada. And he was a reporter. He became attracted to Srila Prabhupada, and he started coming again and again, started visiting the temple, started reading books. And then one day he joined the temple. And all the devotees were surprised. Wow, this reporter joined the temple. He shaved his head in those days. And so devotees asked him, what inspired you to join? You were a reporter. Generally, reporters are looking for, some controversy. They were all kind of confused that maybe he's come here for investigating a little more by staying amongst us, and then God knows what he's going to go and write to his newspaper. So they asked him, "Why did you join?" He said, "I joined because I'm attracted by Srila Prabhupada. One time when I came, I was in the room of reporters, and Srila Prabhupada, while answering questions, he was eating oranges. And Srila Prabhupada would eat orange and then answer question. And in between, when the seed of the orange would come in Srila Prabhupada's mouth, Srila Prabhupada would just spit it out. And that orange seed would make a trajectory out of Srila Prabhupada's lotus mouth and